Yo, 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 good morning. Grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt, Jersey Shore. Check it out. So this video is going to be on the second conduct practice. The first was wise speech. The next is wise action. And again, the general rule of thumb is we try not to cause harm, but if we're not clear about our intention, things that we think are helpful could be harmful, and things that we think are harmful actually could have been helpful. So if we're not clear about our intention, this will become a really difficult practice. The teachings outline 5 basic conduct practices that are pretty much universal with all the different Buddhist traditions. I call them conduct commitments because that language really, to me, puts the responsibility of what I do on my shoulders. You know, it's not about something outside myself. It's about me being clear about my intentions, rigorously honest with myself, and then making the choice of how I'm going to act based on these guidelines. And these commitments will be different for everybody. This is not about ethical or moral perspective, even though, of course, we'll each bring our subjective ethics and morals in. It's different for everybody, and it's not about defining a common ethic or moral for all practitioners. So the basic 5, and you know, this video, this subject right now, the conduct commitments for action, is definitely going to be 2 videos, and then we still have to move on to wise livelihood. So I'm trying to keep the video short and sweet, make my point. Admittedly, I'm missing some aspects that later on I wish I had covered. And if I feel they're really pertinent, I'll make a new video and bring them up. So if go quickly through them, it's just because I'm scratching the surface and just want to make this point. And I just got to show you again what it looks like right now. So basically the basic 5 are not to kill, not to steal, not to misuse speech, not to misuse intoxicants, and not to misuse sexuality. These are, it's what we don't do. It outlines what we don't do. And this is renunciation practice. And I'm going to have a complete video on renunciation later on, so I'm not going to really get into it now. But you know, these conduct commitments are guidelines, and there's much more subtle nuance to them than just, you know, not going out and killing or not going out and stealing. And I'll touch on that just a tiny bit right now. Killing, you know, we can overthink this. Yes, every time we breathe, we take in microscopic beings that die. That's, you know, I'm not saying that's bad to get on that level of thinking, but it can become really tedious to try and carry on an ideal like that. So, you know, most people end up taking not killing into vegetarianism and ultimately veganism, though it's not necessary. Not stealing is not just robbing or mugging. We don't do that, most of us, hopefully. But you know, not stealing can be not hoarding, not being greedy, right? Not misusing speech can sometimes be, you know, remaining silent, and when we don't have something true or helpful to say. And it could be speaking up when everyone else is silent. So, not misusing sexuality. It's not about an ethical or moral decision about how a lifestyle, gay, straight, bi, open relationship, whatever 2 adults consenting to do is their business. It's not about making a judgment about a lifestyle. It's about how I treat people. Do I treat people based on my attraction or not attraction to them, right? Sexuality is not just about not cheating on your spouse. Of course it is, this conduct commitment, but it's also about just how I treat people. And then the last one, intoxicants, we can go on for hours. The Buddha actually said to refrain from anything that intoxicates the mind. So it's not just drugs, it's not just alcohol, it's anything that intoxicates the mind, which could be anger, resentment, hate, anything that takes us out of the present moment and deludes our mind and has harmful negative consequences is an intoxicant. Though intoxicants will have an effect on us, and if a person chooses to indulge, they need to do so making, first of all, not having a problem with the substance. Their intention is not to use it harmfully and for the wrong reasons, but that using intoxicants will change our ability to be mindful and present, and therefore have affect the experience and have consequences, not necessarily bad consequences, but different results than if we were living at straight edge. So it's not judgment, it's subjective to each practitioner, and I'll talk more about this. This is what we don't do. These conduct commitments, these first 5 tell us what not to do, and that's what I've talked about. The next video, we'll talk about actually what we do in respect to these conduct commitments. And after that video, I'll move on to wise livelihood, how we earn a living and how that plays into our spirituality, and then renunciation. So a big topic with a lot of nuance and subtle aspects to talk about. And I hope this was helpful, and peace out. Enjoy your maggot-free day above the dirt.